Want to know a secret? Promise not to tell?
In a very recent video I made, I attempted to defend Disney's Snow White. The major focus for choosing her as a character to defend was not to defend Disney's sexist views, but just to throw a light on the attributes we put on pedestals today. In today's video, I wanted to simply take a look at Snow White's I Want song and attempt to analyze why exactly it is called an I Wish song instead, and also to take a look at its relevance in the movie and within the context. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a little different from the usual. I hope you enjoy watching it nonetheless. Please like, subscribe and share if you do. Thank you for watching. The song that Snow White sings in the movie, and the one that is the most associated with her character, is her I Wish song, aptly titled as I'm Wishing. It begins with a brief prelude about their location, which is, once again, very aptly, a wishing well. The way the spell works is simple. You make a wish and speak it into the well. If the wish is echoed, it means your wish will come true. Snow White then makes a wish for the one she loves to find her on that day.
I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today.
Which he does too, of course, but more on that later. Anyhow, throughout all this time, while the focus is on her as she makes her wish, the focus is equally on the doves around her. The image of the doves here is symbolic because while doves have historically been used to refer to peace, they have also been used to represent innocence and love, both the attributes that Snow White seems to possess in this song. Even in today's culture, for example, a lot of couples release white doves on their wedding days because of their relation to innocence, love, and happiness. Moving on, the next line she says in the song is that she's hoping and dreaming of the nice things her loved one will say to her. These lines are also when we get the first look of the prince, her suggested love interest.
I'm hoping, and I'm dreaming of the nice things you say.
It is quite clear that what Snow White wants in her life is to be with the man of her choice. This wish is echoed later too when she sings, Someday my prince will come, the only other time that she actually mentions him. Even though she goes through multiple experiences throughout the course of the movie, that in a normal situation might divert a person's attention from love to perhaps something more survivalistic, there's a reason for mentioning this song today. Oliver Lindman argues in his paper that her decisions are actually made within a very limited space, that of the house and the castle, and the music here helps to confine her to that space. In other words, she begins as this character obsessed with the idea of love, and she remains this character obsessed with the idea of love. Mostly because women in good houses only dreamt of falling in love and marrying the said person and nothing more. In my previous video, I mentioned why it was important for Snow White to remain the way she was throughout the course of the movie, and why that worked as much at the time of its release. But of course, I can't continue defending a movie or a character based on its relevance in time, hence, I'm intending to take another look here. The reason, in that case, as to why I believe Snow White makes this certain wish instead of anything else that she could have had, like how she could have probably wished that her stepmother would have been kinder to her, or that she could have had her parents back, is because there is obviously an element of abuse attached to her character. This is something I mentioned last time too. And while I agree that Disney probably never even gave that much thought about the character, it is important to remember that texts, even when they remain stuck in time, continue to evolve. Through our perceptions and understandings, their meanings change and something new takes the place of that which was already there. Hence, even though Snow White's wish made sense back when the movie was released, this same wish makes sense today too, but in a different context. It is because of this reason as well that her song is referred to as an I wish song instead of an I want song. Because, simple, Snow White doesn't actually attempt to want that. She merely wishes for it, for the one she loves to come and rescue her. That find here refers to rescue her is the obvious given assumption. This is why the desire for love holds supremacy over all the other desires that she could have had. This is also why it was important for the movie to end on the note it did, because Snow White got what she believed was her happily ever after, a life away from servitude and constant abuse. It is important to note in that case that what truly defines as one's happily ever after often varies from one character to another, or, well, person to another. I may not want to marry and have kids, but that doesn't mean that others can't want that too. And this is my entire issue with the criticism against her song and her character as well. I mean, of course, I understand that this idea of merely wishing for a man to come and save her renders her as a very passive character, which is how the media perceives her as well. And yes, she is incredibly innocent and feminine and passive in this brief song too. But it is also important to highlight her role as a damsel for the song to make sense in the larger context, I believe. What saves her throughout the course of the story, it is important to note, is her innocence. Her innocence and the amount of pity others have on her based on that. The huntsman can't commit a felony in front of her innocence and beauty, so he lets her go. The dwarves take pity on her because of how mighty pretty she is. Similarly, the audience too needs to take the same amount of pity for her and root for her, despite her lack of agency. Of course, now, in the context of the 21st century, this attempt is rendered moot as the current audience does not, in fact, root for such qualities in a character. And that's for very good reasons, I know. Despite that, one cannot ignore the song's importance in setting up the character and context of the story, since Snow White, even with everything else going on, only craves a prince, that is what she shall get, hence the ending given to us, and why it had to be the way it did. The prince, if one notices, narratively speaking, does not in fact hold any other role than to serve as her happily ever after. Once she gets that, there's no point in a story anymore, hence the song, and hence the ending we received. And it is on this grim note that I end today's video. Today's short video that could have included so much more had I tried it to, but I actually wanted to keep it short. I hope you enjoyed watching it and that it added some relevance to the song and why I don't believe it should be hated. I don't love it either, but perhaps hate is a stronger word. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think or what your favorite I Want song is. I would love to chat with you. Thank you for visiting. Until next time, this is Ritika signing off for today.